All right, Max, consider this your official Toronto initiation. You signed with the Blue Jays, but are you ready to talk some hockey with us? How's it going?
Yeah, there we go. Thanks for having me on. But yeah, if we're going to talk Canada, we got to talk hockey. I love it.
Hell yeah. Season number 18, team number 7. How excited are you to be in Toronto now?
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Get with this group of guys, go out there and compete. Definitely in the AL East, which is loaded. That's what makes it great. You got great teams coming in every night. And I look forward. Look forward to the challenge and look forward to get out there and being healthy and go out there and competing.
Max, coming to Toronto, you've played on a few teams in your lengthy career, but what makes a good city to play ball in?
Ooh, good question. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's the fans. When the fans come in there and they bring that energy every single night, that's at the end of the day, that's what you really want. That's what really makes playing baseball fun. And then obviously, now with me, I got 4 kids, so I need having some other things to do with the kids. That's the other thing that makes life a little easier for me now, being a parent. When we got some activities for the kids as well. And like I said, having good sports fans, having other good sports teams around, all the sports. For me, I'm a huge sports fan. It's not just baseball, it's not just football. I'm a basketball fan, hockey fan, you name it. So I love watching guys go out there and compete and watching and being a fan myself.
How well do you know the city of Toronto so far?
I mean, I've been going to Toronto, for past, let's call it 15 years now. So, I've been in Toronto, gotten a feel for it, but definitely ready to learn even more about it.
What I know you won a championship right after the Washington Capitals won there. Did you run into other sports players in the local cities you've played in, or is it pretty separated? Do you remember that run they were on that was followed closely by you guys on the Nationals?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we were definitely a part of that the Caps run. We were living and dying by that because that was right in the middle of our season. Playoff Stanley Cup Finals they're right there in June. Yeah. I remember I was in Baltimore, and it was like I was pitching. It was like the 4th inning or whatever, between the 4th and 5th, and like we didn't have the game on. We didn't have the baseball game on. We actually had the hockey game on during our game. I was following what was going on with their game. In the finals, and then listening when I had to go back out and pitch. So during the Caps run, we were the Nationals, we were definitely a part of their run, or at least we felt like we were really connected to them, and they celebrated with us. Man, they brought the Stanley Cup to us after once they won it. They brought it to our clubhouse, and I got a chance to actually hold it, and that was really, really cool. So very appreciative of the Capitals and their run and what they helped do for the city. That's something I remember as well.
The bigger question is who partied harder when they won, you guys or the Capitals?
Admittedly, they did. Now, to our defense, the Capitals, when they won, it was June, and so they were running around DC, jumping in all the fountains and having fun with that. And when we won, they were like, "You got to do the same thing." I was like, "Well, it's November. This is like 40 degrees. Like jumping in the fountains. Like I was kind of like, you guys have it. You guys win. You guys party hard. We know it, but so did we."
Speaking of that, when I was in Toronto, I went into the Jays clubhouse before, and I was kind of shocked at how laid back it was, and the manager's kind of buddying, and the guys got their feet. It's just kind of chill, and I realized, well, you got to play every single night, and it just kind of creates that culture where football, for example, it's always run here, coaches yelling and everything, and just different cultures. Do you ever think about what it'd be like to be an athlete for a different sport, and what are some of those differences that you notice?
Yeah, I definitely thought about that. I think we all dream about being a different, athlete, being a basketball player, being a football player, being a hockey player, and the grinds that everybody goes through. And I actually love talking to other athletes about that, like what they go through, how they train, and how they cross train about that. But as much as baseball, what you say is kind of laid back. I do feel like being a starting pitcher kind of gets you back to, hey, I'm only pitching once every 5th day. So, it kind of allows me to, when I get out there, lets my adrenaline spike up much more, because I'm only playing once every 5th game versus, every day. So, but that's a challenge of baseball. Look, we're playing 162 games in 183 days. It's relentless. I mean, it's an ultra marathon. It's the everyday. It's a grind. It's an absolute grind. But you got to love. I mean, that's the part I love. I love that we play 162. and how it's an everyday sport. You can't just have a good week. You can't have a good month. It takes a long time to have a good year. So that's the beauty of baseball.
Max, pardon my French, you're a fucking bulldog, man. Like, were you always wound that way? Like, you're the definition of a gamer when you get on that hill.
I attribute that to being an athlete. I played football, I played basketball. I played all the sports growing up. So for me, I focus on I'm an athlete. I'm a competitor first. Like that's it. I just happen to play baseball. And when I play baseball, I go out there and I play to win. That's the best part about it. So the best thing about Major League Baseball is you get to put as much into it as you want. And it's a year-round type of kind of mentality. I mean, when you're at this professional level, it takes absolutely everything from you at all times of your life, in season, out of season, off season, you name it, to be at your best. And so I enjoy that. When you get to apply more effort into it, it makes you a better pitcher. So I've gotten to see the results because of that.
I've always been curious, Max, with starting pitchers. Like you mentioned, you only play every 5 nights. On the other nights when the team's playing and you're not, are you kind of in la land, or do you stay in the zone, or can you even stay in the zone for as long as the season is, like you mentioned? What are the differences between on a game day where you're playing and one where you're not?
Yeah, they're both completely different. On game day, I got my whole routine of what I'm doing between preparing and the whole 9 yards. The other days, I'm definitely doing my routine. I'm definitely getting my work in. Whether it's running, lifting, throwing, you name it. You're getting your work in. Kind of my work hours. Between 2 and 5 p.m. Of get what I need to do that day. To prepare myself for the start. But as you kind of get closer to game time, I'm not on the same mental level as guys getting ready to get into the game. And that's fine. It's actually kind of good because it kind of gives you a different perspective. You're kind of ebbing and flowing with the rest of the guys and the rest of the team, and you kind of being in a balance. Everybody else is getting up, you're kind of staying there, and it allows you to have a different perspective while you watch the game. Definitely your times where you're completely locked in. You're thinking every little last detail with everybody, and you can talk about different situations are arising, with pitchers, with hitters, you name it. But there's other times where, because you're not actually in the game, there's times where you get to mentally kind of check out a little bit. And so, for me, you almost kind of need those kind of days to be a little bit lull. So it allows you to kind of mentally lock in even harder on the day that you go. So, that's baseball, that's pitching. That's how, I found, I like to, kind of be in the clubhouse, the other 4 days.
So as I was telling you through text, I was tipped off by a friend when you signed with Toronto that you're a hockey fan. What's the backstory to that, and what are the chances when you guys come north that we'll see you at a Maple Leafs game down the road?
Yeah, like I said, I'm a sports fan first. I love all sports, and hockey is definitely one of them. For me, I grew up in St. Louis, so I kind of grew up a Blues fan. That came through, and then I got to DC. Kind of embraced the culture there, and really got to know some of the guys as well. And I always love going to hockey. The hockey games are great. The game's fast. The great gameplay, and the rules and fighting, you name it. So, I always say baseball could use a little bit of some of these hockey rules. Once we get going, I'll definitely try to make it to it. Definitely try to get out to the game, especially my kids. Like in my backyard in Florida, I'm playing hockey with the kids. We get enough baseball, and hey, they need to get some hockey in as well. So we got some goals and sticks. So I definitely like playing all the sports, and I get all my kids playing the sports too.
That's cool. Playing ball as long as you have. Do you kind of get tired of it? You mentioned you're raising 4 kids. What direction do you put them in? Would you like for them to follow in your footsteps, or are they interested in other things? Do you like the reprieve of not having to focus on baseball with your kids and point them into a different direction, or where are you headed with them?
Yeah, you just try to be a good dad. Obviously you're going to be around baseball. That's just going to be in their blood. But yeah, for me, like right now, I found, actually playing hockey with them is actually great. Some good hand-eye coordination. Hitting the baseball is actually really hard. So actually when the ball is just sitting there, you get to take little slap shots. So I found that's a little bit easier to work with hitting. And, then if I have a stick, then I don't have to bend over as much. I can hit it right back to them. So it's made for some. We've got we've had some pretty good hockey games going on in our backyard there in Florida. with the wiffle balls. We turn the baseball wiffle balls into hockey pucks, and we just have fun with it. So for me, it's just have the kids be active, play sports, don't play sports, just have fun, be a good dad, just let them be kids.
So, Max, as you know, hockey players very superstitious, but baseball players above and beyond that. I played ball growing up. I remember I wouldn't step on the fair foul lines. Like it was, I don't know why, but every start wouldn't touch it. Are you a superstitious guy?
Extremely superstitious. So superstitious I don't even like talking about them, because I feel like every time I talk about one, then it doesn't work anymore. So, I'm sure hockey guys are superstitious, but I promise you, baseball's even worse. I see guys that have to do some of their ticks, and like it's crazy what we're all doing. Like, hey, that's just what it is. Like, you got to do your little routine, whatever it is. Something really stupid, but it makes you, if you think it works, you've got to do it, and you can't change it. And there'll be something, even in your day-to-day life, you'll catch yourself doing something in day-to-day life that like you did, and then you have a good game, and then you're constantly in your day-to-day life having to try to find these superstitions as well. So that's definitely a life of a ball player.
Is there anyone you've played with in your time that stands out? You don't have to name names, but what's like the wildest thing that you couldn't believe a guy has to do?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, this easiest one is what everybody eats around different things, but I don't have it off the top of my head, but
you don't want to put anyone under the bus.
Say out there, but it gets out there, but it's just the way it goes.
Max, a good question that just came to mind. So I don't know if you've been following. There's like a Four Nations face-off, Four Nations getting together, Canada and the U.S. getting together here. But as you know, the great thing is Canada played the other day. Sidney Crosby, who's just like a legend, picks up 3 assists. As somebody who's a bit longer in the tooth, who's seen some things, what's that transition been like from a guy in the peak of your career now it's sort of in the twilight, and how the differences last there?
You just appreciate the game just that much more. This is awesome being able to be 40 years old and playing baseball.
Yeah.
Something you almost always dream of. So even though I'm the really old guy in the clubhouse and I'm the same age as the coaches and everything, I just wear it as a badge of honor now. That I'm actually lucky that I get to still play baseball at this age, and you just appreciate all the little small things with it, and that you still have a chance to go out there and compete, and that's the best part.
The Maple Leafs right now have got 2 young goalies that are really standing out in that market and showing up with some pretty wicked performances consistently. Do you see any similarities between goaltenders and pitchers, being as they kind of, based on their performance, can always be the difference between winning and losing?
Yeah, it's kind of like the defense wins championships kind of model. The goalie's kind of that the last offender. They're the everybody looks at them. Kind of way that everybody looks at the pitcher. Pitcher standing there, they're the only ones holding the ball, and they're the ones attacking the other lineup. The pitcher against the other 9 hitters, and it's the goalie against the other team. How that all works. So yeah, that's some similarities. Definitely get that. That train of thought, and but like I said, I love watching every facet of hockey. The defenseman, this, that, penalty kills. Just watching how the sport, how everybody competes and how everybody thinks around it. That definitely it's fun to watch.
What are the chances, Max, that we can make you a Toronto Maple Leafs fan? The captain of the Leafs, Austin Matthews, now the captain for Team USA. Have you met him before?
I haven't, but let's get the Blue Jays over, and see some, get the teams kind of mingle a little bit. Hopefully, rub off on each other. Hopefully, the fans rub off on each other. That's kind of when the magic happens.
Mm-hmm. Are you used to playing in cooler climates? Obviously, the dome retracts and closes up, but is it going to be a little bit different having a Canadian winter this year? I guess it's through the summer, right? But it's still pretty chilly right around now.
Yeah. I've played a lot of cold weather baseball games in my life. Growing up in St. Louis, there was definitely, again, thinking some really, really cold weather games, baseball. So I think I'll be okay. And pitching in Detroit, some really cold. Detroit's right next to, kind of in the same parallel here as Toronto. So I've definitely pitched in some really frigid games before. So having Toronto be in a dome, play baseball at least in a dome, that's good enough for me.
Max, just a few more for you. One of my favorite baseball movies, For Love of the Game, Billy Chapel. To use that as a comparison, where do you feel you're at? Like, are you going to be out there for 5 to 7 more years? Are you in the 7th inning? Are you in the 8th inning? Are you closing it out in the 9th? Where are you?
I wouldn't necessarily look at it like that. I'm taking it year by year. You never know how you're going to feel after each year. You never know how, what stage of life, how things are going. Kids are in school. How's family life? Friends on teams, what teams can win. I'm playing to win. I'm not just playing to play. I'm playing to win. The moment I can't be a part of a championship caliber team, then I'm not going to play anymore. But it's definitely still had that belief that I can be a part of another World Series caliber team. And that's the goal. That's the mission. And, I'm out there to go compete for it.
Such a gamer. We'll leave with this. I love what athletes do behind the scenes in the community. Through your Hall of Fame career, you've done a lot in support of animal welfare and dog adoption. Got anything planned so far for Toronto here?
Yeah, my wife and I will definitely look at to see how we can do something in the community there. That's one of her specialties. She loves that. And I love dogs well. So it's something that we'll definitely look at. And, I'm sure once the season kind of unfolds, we'll come up with a plan and do something creative and fun because I think everybody loves dogs.
You're the best. Welcome to Toronto. Really appreciate you doing this, man.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Max.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.